What's up, everybody? It's Alex from Heavy New York, invading California for Namm 2020. We are here with Mark of The Manseion. Thank you so much for your time today, man.
Hey, thanks for having me, dude.
Yeah, it's so great to have you here. You told me that you are currently working on some new music now. Are you making just a direct continuation of what we heard on Revolution, or do you think that this is going to be like a new start for The Manseion in a way?
Well, actually, it's funny you asked that because this is actually quite a departure from what we did in the past. Well, I would say pretty much every album. This will be our fourth album. I always like to kind of switch it up because I get bored, and so this next album will be a lot heavier, and it will be like more people on stage. There will be a whole concept behind, so it will be quite a departure from pretty much everything we've done in the past. So it'll be interesting.
Was this like a preconceived idea, or did it kind of just like happen that way?
It's kind of funny because, like, kind of for years, I had this thing in the back of my mind, not for my band. I was like, man, I wish some band would come up and do that. This concept that I have specifically. And then I was like, why don't I do it? I kind of got in a moment where, because we tour quite a bit on each album, and then for me, there's only so many times I can play these songs without starting to slightly disconnect from it. I mean, whether it's when back in this we're doing more progressive music, and then after a bit I'm like, I'm over it. So last album was a lot more direct, and then I'm kind of over that too. So the next album is really heavy, and it's a little more, it's old school. Like, there's not gonna be no auto-tune on any vocals. It'll be like all live, recorded live. Kind of like back to the basis.
You mentioned that there is a concept behind this. Did you think of this? Did the concept maybe help determine the outcome of the music itself, or did you develop this concept as you were playing more?
Well, I basically had a generic idea of the album will be called Italia, and I lived in the United States for almost 20 years, so I'm kind of like as much American as I am Italian, even more I would say. But I kind of been going back to my roots quite a bit. And there's really not that many bands from Italy that actually, do metal successfully. Obviously there's Lacuna Coil, which is a great band. Flesh God, but not that many. You know what I'm saying? And so I always thought that we have so many concepts, so many just the culture and the history of the country. There's so much inspiration to take from, and I was like, somebody should really do something with that. And and I've been getting into the whole characters rather than the band members. Like, I'm kind of like, I like giving interviews, and I'm a pretty social person, but I don't like myself being the center of attention. I'm not shy at all. It's like, okay, I don't want to talk about me. I want to talk about art. You know what I mean? So I want to talk about music, the songs, and most of the time I feel like, it becomes more about the front man or front girl than it is about the music. And I don't think, basically it's not what I want to do. So I basically been creating these characters for the new album, and with full costumes and masks and everything, which we've never done in the past, although we had tried to do it for the previous album, but musically didn't match. And so even my singing style has changed drastically compared to the previous album, simply because as I was singing and writing songs, I wasn't thinking, okay, it's me singing Mark Maension. I was thinking, what's this character? And I have two lead characters, singers, that I alternate throughout the show. And the whole album is actually thought as more of as a play, like with basically the way we bring it live. It's a storyline that develops throughout the show. And so I wrote it thinking, performing with these characters live on stage, almost as if it was a movie. Yeah. And then I would hear these sounds coming out of me and my voice that I had never even done, even stuff that I'm not even influenced by musically. I know it's pretty generic, but it all makes sense later on. And then as I was hearing these sounds, I'm like, yeah, that's what this character would sound like. And so I'm almost like acting with my voice on the next album. I mean, it's been, as an artist, it's been kind of refreshing, to do something different.
Could the album be open to interpretation, or is the goal to maybe engage the listener into the story and get them to sort of see things from your point of view?
Well, The album has a specific theme, but it has also a lot of double meaning. Almost every song you can read it, and I like to write like this. Like you can see the connection to the storyline, yet you can interpret it in terms of current events and things that go on, and just like my vision of the world. But at the same time, that's the beauty of music and lyrics, that everybody can read them, and most people are not gonna know what the artist meant, and it's in a sense also better. I mean, like I feel there's layers in which people can engage into music, and of course, if you become really big band, people are gonna engage into your music at a deeper level than if you are a band that is not that big. So for me, I put a lot of layers in this album for myself. Then how much people are gonna dig, how deep they're gonna dig into the album. We'll see.
Well, one thing I was curious about is in order to get inspired to write music, does like inspiration sometimes just come out of nowhere, or like do you like have to in a way like put yourself in a certain realm? Like some people just isolation is like the fuel.
Right.
So like, does inspiration come out of nowhere, or do you kind of look for it?
Well, I always kind of thought that as an artist, I mean, at least for myself, I'm more of a medium. Like a lot of times, I don't think we create as much as we bring out to the surface things that are kind of in another dimension. I don't know if that makes any sense. And now, how do you access that other dimension of inspiration? Well, some people use drugs, some people use isolation, some people use sex, whatever rocks your boat. For me, on this specific album, I had a lot of personal things going on. It was a kind of a different year last year, and but I have never. I wrote the entire album. It's 23 songs in a month and a half.
That's impressive.
Like I have never done. Not only did I write it, because I write by myself, I write it and I demoed the entire album. Like every day, I would from scratch, from zero, I would do the entire song: drums, bass, guitar, vocals, everything.
Tool, you could learn a thing or two.
And it's like it never happened. It usually takes me a long time, but for whatever reason, and I went to Italy to do this. Actually, I kind of wanted to be in the environment. And it's just like I've never been so free flowing. My inspiration was just like an ocean, and if I didn't have to leave Italy to come back to US, I probably would have continued, which is actually kind of good that I had to go, because 23 songs is it's a crazy amount of, of songs. You know what I mean?
And the final question I wanted to ask you is just do a quick gear rundown with you. Being a guitarist, like what is your weapon of choice? Like,
So, as people that follow the band, I'm pretty much associated with Parker Flies. That's my weapon of choice. I have two Parker Fly guitars. I have Parker bass and acoustic guitar. So full-on Parker. I actually got endorsed with them, but unfortunately it was right as they went out of business. But I constantly hunt for their gear, like used. And on stage, we actually on the next tour we're gonna use all of the Parker stuff. And I run a very complex setup. Like I hate to have, because I'm singer and guitarist, I do not want to switch on anything.
yeah, that's a good idea.
And so I have this Pro Tools rig and Axe FX and in-ear monitors. So all the patches, whether it's guitar, bass, keyboard patches, everything is via MIDI. It's all automated. We all run the click in our in-ears. I just love it because as much as it can be seen as invasive technology-wise, for me it's kind of the opposite, because it frees us on stage to just purely play. When I'm on stage, I'm just playing my guitar, I'm singing, I don't have to think about any of the other stuff. There's no cables on my stage, everything is wireless, and we run a light show that is all automated. It's very complex, but when you see it on stage, it's like, I've had people say, this is the cleanest stage I've ever seen. Like, it's just, everything is clean, and we can jump, we can like do whatever we want, completely free.
Not like Guar.
Not like Guar, yeah. I mean, they're an awesome band, Like, it's just, I guess, there's many ways, different ways to do the same thing, in a sense, I mean?
So before we go, I'd like to thank you so much for your time today. I really appreciate it. Is there just anything else with the Maension you would like to promote? Like when can we be expecting the new album or any shows coming up?
Well, we are going to do our last tour with Revolution in August and September in the US. It's gonna be last time we bring those songs live, and then I'm hoping that the album will be done this year, but we'll see with labels and all that other stuff. So either this year by the end of the year or next year. So
Well, Mark, thank you so much.
thanks for having me.
Of course, everybody. Mark of the Maension, new stuff coming very soon. This is Alex from Heavy New York, Namm 2020. We'll see you next time.